Shri Vishnu
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata Abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutanamdharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyuttanamadharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge
And everyone together. Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
Om Hari Om. Namaste everyone, and welcome to the latest live stream of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. It is absolutely my pleasure to be with you in what is 2 p.m. here in the Vedic heartland in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm speaking to you from the world headquarters of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. And before we begin, before we dive into the talk for today, and the commentary on several Vedic verses, just want to say a few very quick things. First of all, I would appreciate it very much if right now, and yes, right now, actually, if everyone who is watching, if you are on social media anywhere, if you're on anything, if you're on X, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Gab, if you're on Truth Social, if you're on literally anywhere where there is social media, I would appreciate it very, very much if right now you were to take the URL of this live stream and please share it. Please share it. There's time to share it. There's time for people to join. And even if they don't join during the live stream itself, well, this will be available as a video. So even if they see the link tomorrow or whenever, they can still at least watch the recording of this. And it would be very, very helpful if you were to please help us to do this. The other thing that I want to say is that the world is indeed going through a transition right now. There is practically no one who would or could deny this in any way whatsoever. Those who do are suffering from one of two things or a combination of both. Those who would deny that something great is coming, and great in every sense of that term, are either stupid, truly. They don't have a clue of what's happening around them. They have zero situational awareness. Or else they're literally being paid to deny this fact. The world is going through a transition. It's a transition that those of us who have been very steeped in the yogic process for decades and decades and decades have known was coming. That being the case, I want everyone out there to listen to these 3 words. And I'm going to be repeating this with every single live stream from now on. And it's very simply these 3 words that you've heard me say before, but I've said them before only in preparation for what is now going to happen. Do not fear. Do not fear. Do not fear. Indeed, not only do I tell you this, and I tell you this with absolute assurance and confidence, I want you to take this message to the world. Indeed, it's interesting. I did an interview with A.J. Hogue not long ago, a few weeks ago actually. We don't have it up yet on our Dharma Nation channel because all of our volunteers have been very busy, preoccupied with other things. But it's available on his channel. And this is one thing that I said toward the end, is that these three words should become the motto of our age. This should literally go viral. Is that a term that's even used anymore? It was at one time. Well, it should go viral. And I would also welcome everyone to also, again, on your social media, repeat these three words everywhere, whatever the context. Do not fear. This is what billions of people on our planet today need to hear, that there is nothing to fear. Oh, again, we're in a transition. What the world is going to see over the course of the next year, roughly, give or take a few months, is going to be amazing. Let me just leave it at that. But these are the three words that everyone must keep in mind. Do not fear. Because if, and only if, you are yourself a devotee of God, of Sriman Narayana, of Vishnu, of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, then we are assured that we are protected by God Himself. That being the case, we have nothing to fear whatsoever. Repeat this to yourself, and more, out of compassion and out of a sense of duty, begin to spread this message to every human being on the face of the earth, in every language on earth. Just three words. Do not fear. This is my request of you, of everyone watching, of those who are going to watch this later. This is my request of all of my students, of all of my disciples, of all the followers of the ISDS, of all those individuals who have just watched our videos. Spread this message. Do not fear. And I thank you. With that, we're now going to jump into our talk for today. And as I mentioned, this is actually going to be part 2 of what we spoke about the last time, the freed mind. What does it mean to have a free mind? And we had 9 verses in total that we were going to look at. And I knew this was going to happen. I designed this on purpose, actually. We looked at just the first 5 verses, which were really the heart of everything. But there are 4 verses now to wrap up this thought of these teachings of Lord Vishnu himself, where he speaks about, indeed, how to have a free mind. Now, the last time he mentioned 3 things. We must have faith, we must have firmness, and we must have tranquility. If we can have these 3 things, if we can have faith, if we can have firmness, and if we can have a tranquil mind, serenity, that being the case, we will realize the dharma of the mind. And more, we will have a mind that is free, that is liberated. Now, with that as just a reminder of what these verses are about, we're now going to look at the rest of these verses that we didn't have a chance to look at the last time. So give me a moment, please, to just get to these verses. Okay. We don't have the full verses here, unfortunately. It ends at 8. There should be 9 verses in total. So, everyone, if you'll please just give us a second. I'll just take a moment. There we go. All right. They were copied but not pasted. the easiest mistake in the book. Well, that's perfectly fine. Very good. So we now have the verses that I'll be speaking about. So we're going to be looking at Parama-Samhita Pancharatra. Indeed, this is the work that we have been looking at for quite some time now. And the reason why is because it's profound. It's a beautiful book. It's a Vedic scripture that even individuals who, let's say, have been Vaishnavas for 30 years, some of them have not encountered this Vedic scripture, even though it's very important, actually. It's one of the Pancharatra works, one of 108. And this is an important one because it provides a very nice summary of the totality of the Pancharatra. If you read this work, you'll have an idea of what the 108 Pancharatra works is speaking of. So now we're going to look at chapter 12 and verse 9. And it's referring to, again, those 3 qualities that I just mentioned that we spoke about the last time. And it proceeds in this way. When these qualities are found in a man, either as being natural to his essence or acquired by him by his own effort, as a permanent habit of his mind, God is pleased with him. God is pleased with him. So again, faith, firmness, and tranquility. These three qualities are what are being spoken of here. Now let me comment on this a little bit. So when these three qualities, the three that I just mentioned, when they're found in an individual, in a person. Now, this is important. Two distinctions are made here by Lord Vishnu, and that is very simply, if these three qualities are found in a person, either inherent to who that person is, or if they are acquired later by the person, either way. Now, let me talk about this for a second. Because every human being is different from every other human being, and in some cases infinitely so. No two human beings are the same. No two human beings are interchangeable. No two human beings are equal. Indeed, these ideas of modernity are the very opposite of reality, the very opposite of what every ancient civilization, each of which were infinitely grander and greater and smarter and wiser and better than anything that we have today. These ideas of modernity, that indeed every human being is exactly the same, no, this is thrown out. Humans are all different. This being the case, it's also recognized that of all the various categories of being in which human beings can be placed, these are two categories, two oppositional categories. One of which says that some people, some individuals, are born with good qualities. Some individuals are born with specifically these three qualities that are spoken of, whereas other individuals have to acquire them. Other individuals are not born with faith, not born with tranquility, not born with firmness, etc. And despite that fact that they're not born with these things, they can acquire them. They can acquire them. Now, this is what's important. This is what's very important. By what? For those who were here last time, by his own
efforts.
There we go. Very important. So again, we've seen, for those who were with us last time, and for those who weren't, please just watch when you have a chance, obviously not the second, the last video that came out, the last live stream where we talk about the previous verses. By his own effort. So indeed, if an individual works hard to acquire good qualities, this is in general, but especially these three qualities that are spoken of, well, a person can indeed have these. As a result of trying to acquire these by his own effort, they become a permanent habit of his mind. So in other words, they become something that is now there ingrained within the individual. The individual will have faith. The individual will have firmness, will have tranquility, etc. And more, and most importantly of all, you could almost say in comparison to which none of the rest of the verse even matters, God is pleased with him. God is pleased with him. Why do I say this? And why do I say it so adamantly? That's the most important part of this verse, actually. It's because of the army of individuals who are out there today who all claim to be spiritual. Those individuals who are truly spiritual are those individuals whose motivation consists of one thing, and only one thing. And that is that why do they do what they do? All their spiritual things. Why are they doing their sadhana? Why are they doing meditation? Why are they trying to, yes, indeed, better themselves? Why are they trying to have self-realization, know themselves better and better? Why are they trying to fill in the blank? It should be for one thing, ultimately, and that is to please God. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And it is indeed by pleasing God that we indeed acquire all of the good things that we need. So that's why this last part is really the only part that we should even worry about or think about. God is pleased with him, with that person. Let's go on to the next verse, and this is verse 10. So we're going in sequential order. Association with people possessing these qualities, or hearing of those great ones, having great knowledge of these people, becomes the means of gaining these qualities. So very nice. Again, a very, very important verse. And let me explain what is meant by this. So again, these qualities, meaning these three qualities that were spoken of previously. So that is faith, firmness, and tranquility. Now Lord Vishnu is speaking about associating with such individuals and the benefit that is derived therefrom. So associating with people who possess these three qualities, let's stop there. Who are these people? Who are the people who are indeed blessed with these three qualities? Now wait, let me pause before we even answer that. Let's go back to the previous verse. Whether it is there innately within them or whether they acquired these three, it doesn't matter. Whether they were born with faith and firmness and tranquility or whether they had to work hard and, over 10, 20, 50 years they acquired these things. This is the thing. It doesn't matter, again. But by associating with such people, who are these people now at this point who have such qualities? These are individuals who are the Vaishnavas. Now, again, I have to pause. The term Vaishnava, for those of you who, again, you got your information from Wikipedia or some dusty textbook on Hinduism that's used in some college course somewhere where they focus on caste cows and curry, etc., etc. In other words, no actual knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. Vaishnava, if this is where you're coming from, is a sectarian term. Not within the actual context of Sanatana Dharma, and certainly not within the context of the Vedic scriptures. So Vaishnava is not a sectarian term. It's not, oh yes, I am a Vaishnava. Oh, what is Acharyaji saying? A Vaishnava, a member of the Vaishnava sect. No. The scriptures make this very clear. A Vaishnava is an individual who certainly is a devotee of Vishnu, but more, it is someone who is fully devoted to and surrendered unto God. So when you hear the term Vaishnava, if you're hearing, oh yes, the Vaishnava sect, no, you've got it wrong, and unfortunately your understanding is going to end at that point. But if you understand what the scriptures say, i.e. that the term Vaishnava is not a sectarian individual. It is an individual, rather, who is fully surrendered to God in an egoless manner, in such a way that he wishes to serve God and to only serve God. Let's go back to the previous verse. His only goal in life is to please God. That is the definition of a Vaishnava. So this is what we're talking about, associating with people possessing these qualities. Those are the Vaishnavas. Now let's go on. Or hearing of those great ones. How amazing. So let's say that you have the misfortune, and it's very sad, and I actually know many people, indeed, we have students throughout the world who fit into this category. They're very sincere. They are Vaishnavas, but they live in some place where they're very isolated. We have devotees in, dare I say it, all throughout the Middle East. We have devotees in countries where there are next to no Vaishnavas, and they're alone. Well, let's say you don't have personal company, personal association. Now, very wonderfully, as if coming to our rescue, this clause says, or hearing of those great ones. So even if you hear about pure devotees, about pure Vaishnavas, even if that's the only ability that you have, you can't be in their company, but you can hear the stories of such people, and in that way indirectly associate with great personages throughout history. All right, now let's go on. Having great knowledge of these people becomes the means of gaining these qualities. So either way, let's say again you have personal, physical, one-on-one association with truly saintly beings, and you can learn from them. You can learn from the fact that they have these qualities that are there now within them, these wonderful virtues. Or let's say you don't even have that. You can only read stories, maybe even see films. There are films today about depicting all sorts of Vaishnava saints and sages, etc. Either way, if you have knowledge of these people, having that great knowledge itself becomes the means of gaining these qualities. So it is indeed by observing the qualities of such individuals that you yourself become like unto them. So, beautiful verse where this is talking about satsanga. This is talking about association, either directly or indirectly. And what is the purpose of association? You become like that with which you associate. You become like that upon which you meditate. You become like that which you worship, etc. What you bring into your company, spiritually speaking, you become like unto that. So, of course, as Vaishnavas, we seek to not play games with petty power, either occultic or power in this world. Oh, trust me, power is actually effortless to a Vaishnava. There have been Vaishnavas throughout the history of the world who have been Chakravartins, who have been world emperors. You want to talk about power? You want to talk about power? What power? What power are you going to have in this world? Are you going to be a president of the United States? Doubtful. Are you going to be a prime minister? Doubtful. Are you going to be a multi-billionaire worth 50 billion? Doubtful. We're not even talking about petty power like that. We have had Vaishnavas recorded in our scriptures who have been emperors of our planet. So power? Oh yes, power is effortless for us. The difference is that the power-hungry so-called spiritualists, they gain the smallest power. Forget about the things I just mentioned, which they'll never have. They gain the smallest power. They're giddy with it, as if they're drunk. For the Vaishnava, on the other hand, a Vaishnava can be, and indeed will be, emperor of the world, and they're indifferent to it. That's the difference. That is the difference. But regardless of this, we become like that which we associate. We as Vaishnavas, what do we want? We want the highest. We want God. We want that which is the source of all things. And we wish to please Him. That being the case, when we associate with other Vaishnavas, we become like unto them. So those individuals who are out there who you want to grow spiritually, associate with Vaishnavas. What does that mean? That means, indeed, even if indirectly, as was just said here, even if it's not directly, right now you are indirectly associating with Vaishnavas. Right now, you are tuning in to our temple here in Omaha, Nebraska, in what we call the Vedic heartland. And you witnessed a beautiful puja of Sriman Narayana. And you can't see them, but on the other side of the camera, we have devotees in our temple and more. We have devotees watching live now. You're associating with us. Appreciate that association. Take advantage, good advantage, of that association. Grow with us as much as possible. Join our Discord server. As I say every single week, we have a Discord server, and there's a reason why I keep mentioning that. We don't care about numbers. It's not so that, we can keep growing. Numbers. It's for you. You wish to have good Vaishnava association, again, associating with individuals who have all the virtues and qualities that we've spoken of, not just today and last week, but that we've spoken about for decades and decades and decades. Join our Discord server, and what you will see is you will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of devotees who, again, you can have this association with, etc. And in this way grow. Let's go on to now verse 11. And this verse proceeds in this way. Whatever is opposed to these three is called adharma. Those addicted to qualities that are opposed to these three come to grief in all their lives, present and future. Very nice. This is a powerful verse. This is a very powerful verse. Now, having spoken about the positive, Lord Vishnu trying to explain to us, associate with good people, try to build these qualities within ourselves, these three qualities aforementioned, but really all the good virtues, etc. Now, Lord Vishnu is looking at the other side. Well, what if you don't? What if you choose, no, I don't want to have faith. No, I don't want to have firmness. No, I don't want tranquility. I want the opposite. Well, here we go. Whatever is opposed to these three is called adharma. Adharma. Dharma itself comes from the Vedic Sanskrit verb root dhr, meaning firmness, stability, that which is the foundation thereof. From dhr we get dharma. Dharma means that which is the foundation of reality. That means the natural law, those laws that are intrinsic within the universe itself. Now, what is its opposite? Like in the English, like in many Western languages, you add a negation. You can add an before it, like theist, atheist. Well, in the same way in Sanskrit, there's dharma, there's adharma. So now the opposite of dharma. Whatever is opposed to these three virtues is considered to be adharma, the very opposite of what is natural, the very opposite of reality itself. You see, it's interesting. People use this term all the time from every persuasion. It's amazing. Nature, nature, nature. Natural, natural, natural. Some people use this as a buzz term, radical environmentalists, oh, nature, oh, well, we have to do good things toward nature, they say, as they're living in the Bronx, etc. Oh, we have to love nature as they're living on the south side of Chicago, etc., etc. And then you have those individuals who do actually have more of a clue of what nature actually means. Oh, you actually go into nature. You actually appreciate nature by not looking at nice images on the internet of flowers, but you actually go deep, deep into nature with reverence. With reverence. Well, what is another way of saying that which is the natural? It is reality. If it is unnatural, it is not reality. It is not meant to be. It is of the nature of abhava in Sanskrit, that is non-being. So with this understanding, what Vishnu is saying here is more profound than we may understand. When he says whatever is opposed to these three virtues is called adharma, what he is saying is that which is opposed to virtue is of the nature of non-being, the non-existent. It's not reality. It's as much reality as a two-dimensional painting. It's not real. It's not real. So we are indeed meant to follow dharma, to follow the real. Now let's go on. Those addicted to those qualities that are opposed to these three, that is, these three virtues, come to grief. So being very blunt, very honest about this, it's not merely that if you reject virtue, if you reject being good, if you reject the spiritual, if you reject God and Dharma, etc., it's not merely that you are doing that which is the opposite of reality, that you are falling into non-being, but necessarily as a natural consequence of this, you'll be miserable. You will fall to grief. Now, what is meant by this? This is something that we are now experiencing in our world today. You see, this is what is interesting, is that when we look at these Vedic scriptures, we need to look at these Vedic scriptures not merely with our eyes, not merely with our intellect. Trust me, intellect will help you slightly in understanding the Vedic scriptures. If you're someone who you have a purely intellectual approach, oh, you'll never understand the Vedic scriptures. You must use your eyes, you must use your intellect, you must use your mind, you must use your heart. You must ultimately see with that vision that is non-empirical. You must penetrate into exactly what is being said by the Vedic scriptures. What is meant by grief is, not a punishment, not like in Abrahamism. Oh, if you don't follow Dharma, you're going to be punished. No. If you don't follow the natural, if you're not living in concert with reality, what then is your necessary self-imposed fate? You will be miserable because you will not be living in reality. And indeed, what do we see in the world around us today? Precisely what Lord Vishnu has said. We have, what to speak of people, most of the people are innocent. It's not totally their fault. More importantly, what do we have? Governments. What do we have? Fake leaders. Fake leaders. What do we have? Corrupt, criminal politicians. And I can go on and on and on and on. None of whom are living their lives in accordance with Dharma. Indeed, they are following adharma. They are following the path of non-being. That being the case, what do we see in the world around us? Oh, what do we see? Do I need to tell you? If you're watching this channel, you have some intelligence. You know what's happening in the world. Misery, unhappiness, depression, meaninglessness, hopelessness. Indeed, what we have is grief. So, of course, what does this lead to? What is the natural conclusion? This is why the International Sanatana Dharma Society exists. This is why I exist, is we wish to reverse this. We indeed want to bring Dharma back to this world so that rather than non-being, we have being. We have reality. We have that which is the natural, again, what is meant to be. So, all that being said, not only do individuals come to grief, but it ends in this way. In all their lives. Now, what does this mean? In every aspect of our life, present and future. So, indeed, unless we're following Dharma, we are in suffering. If we do not follow Dharma, we are in suffering. We are creating our own future as well. So it's not just that we're choosing the path of non-being, of non-reality now, but we will continue to experience that grief into the future. For eternity? No, again, we're not Abrahamists. No, we live life after life after life, as long as we're in illusion. So thus in future lifetimes, we have the opportunity to begin to live life as it is meant to be lived, according to the natural order, divine order, in accordance with God and God's teachings. And that being the case, that can be reversed. Indeed, it can be reversed now. If you are someone who right now, you are purposefully living a life that is adharmic, and if you have had the intelligence as of yet, it may not have dawned upon you, it will. But if you're beginning to have the intelligence to understand that you're living a life of self-created misery, you can change. You can begin to follow Dharma, and you can begin now. And you can begin with baby steps. It's all right. You see, again, we're not some extremist sect that says, oh yes, it's our way or the highway. It's our way or hell. No. Choose to begin to follow Dharma and start slowly. Yes, don't pretend you're something that you're not. If you've been living an adharmic life, now you want to embrace Dharma. Don't try to pretend that, now that I've embraced it, I am a sage of Dharma. No. Take baby steps. Little by little, try to acquire what? These 3 virtues that we have spoken about for 2 weeks now. And cultivate them little by little. And little by little, begin to practice all of the practices of Sanatana Dharma. Teach yourself, educate yourself. Read the Vedic scriptures. Read Sanatana Dharma, the eternal natural way. Read the principles of perfect leadership. Read radical universalism. Read living Dharma. Read the Vedic way of knowing God. And on and on. We have about 13 books out now, many more coming. And in this way, you can begin to have the opposite of a life of grief. We have one more verse, and only one that we're going to look at. And this is 12. Verse 12. Therefore, a devotee of Vishnu, desiring to attain the accomplishment of his object, that is, attaining to liberation, should discipline his mind in the practice of these 3 qualities. What a beautiful way to end this. So let's quickly look at this. Therefore, a devotee of Vishnu. Again, what does that mean? A Vaishnava. Again, what does that mean? That means an individual who wants the highest. No games, no, let me take the elevator up to the 3rd floor, even though liberation is on the 108th floor. No, I want to go to the 3rd. At least it's better than 1st. I'm happy here. You're happy there? Fine. That's good. At least we congratulate you. You're not on the 1st floor anymore. You're on the 2nd. You made some progress. That's good. Someone made it to the 50th floor. You're almost halfway there. Nice. We congratulate you even more. But no, for those individuals who truly are sincere and you want to get to the 108th floor, that is, you want to know that which is the absolute meaning of existence. That being the case, indeed, this is speaking to you. Therefore, a devotee of Vishnu, a Vaishnava, desiring to attain the accomplishments of his object. So what does that mean? This was spoken about earlier in previous verses. That means liberation. For the Vaishnava, of course, they're seeking liberation. What that means for us is to be eternal servants of Sriman Narayana, expressing that service with pure and utter devotion. That is our goal. That being the case, desiring to attain that, to accomplish that object, that individual should discipline his mind in the practice of these three qualities. So again, a short moment ago, when I was speaking about the previous verse, I was speaking to those individuals out there, especially who, let's say you've led an adharmic life, and now you wish to lead a dharmic life. Well, what did I tell you? Begin to cultivate these virtues. Well, now Lord Vishnu himself is telling you the exact same thing. That is, that individual should discipline his mind in the practice of these three qualities of faith, firmness, tranquility. Faith, firmness, tranquility. Begin to exercise these things with a disciplined mind. Begin to exercise these things as qualities, virtues that are there within you, but then practiced in the world as well. Practiced within one specific context within the material world. If one does this, one will have liberation. One will have what? A freed mind. A freed mind. So with that, I thank you very much for listening to my discourse today on these beautiful verses from the Parama-Samhita Pancharatra. And with that, we have a little bit of time, so I am indeed going to take some questions from people. So if there are any questions out there, please feel free to ask. And as I always tell people, there's a 20-second delay. So by the time people hear me actually saying this online, questions will already be coming in. And in the meantime, for the individuals who are here in our temple, let me tell you, if you have any questions about anything, also please feel free to ask. Anyway, just raise your hand. Very good. Very good. I see Arjuna is here. Arjuna, namaste. I'm very happy to see you here, as is everyone. I see Vaishnavi is here as well. Vaishnavi, namaste. Wonderful to see you. And many, many other individuals who I recognize. Not everyone has a Sanskrit name yet. Some of the individuals who are here regularly soon will. But some already do. Very good. All right, I believe I see a question here. As is often the case, there's a heart in the way, but that's all right. I can read it. There we go. It shifted actually. So, very good. The question is, I really like the talk. Well, thank you very much. My question is, what is the difference between dhrti and dharma? Very good. There's not much of a difference, but there is indeed a little bit of a difference. We find the term dhrti specifically in the Shruti literature more so than in any other form of literature, in the Smriti literature, etc. But the difference essentially is this: Dharma is the foundation of dhrti. While they're kind of saying the same thing, I'm sorry. Hold on one moment. The questions are pouring in, so I don't want to lose your question. I want to be able to still see it. So let me just adjust this very quickly. So the root of both dhrti and dharma is dharma itself. Dharma, in fact, let me explain this very, very succinctly, yet in a authorized, authentic sort of manner, a correct manner. Dharma is God's grace concretized within the material realm in the form of law. That is what dharma is. So, because most individuals, being an illusion, cannot directly access the grace of God, which surrounds us at all times anyway, but again, due to our illusion, we think we can't have access. that grace of God within the material world becomes concretized, so to speak, in the form of dharma, that is natural law that is there inherent within the universe itself. Dhrti is dharma instantiated in specified form, that is, as specific laws, etc., within the context of the material world. So dharma is general, dhrti is specified. And let me leave it at that. They're really pointing to the same thing ultimately. But that's the difference between the two. It causes a lot of confusion between people. Not many people, but some people even think, oh, they're two radically different things. No, they're the exact same thing, just generalized versus specified. Very good. Here is a good question, and indeed, keeping with, as I said, what will be one thing that I will be repeating again and again, and that is do not fear. The question is, can you please speak about fear? Indeed, fear is something which, if we are in the material world, it's something that human beings and all beings will experience. This is something important to understand. Fear is something that is experienced not just by human beings, but we know this, all beings. You have a pet, sometimes you see your pet afraid, you see your cat. Again, I mentioned I think last week or maybe the week before, that if there's thunder and you have a cat, sometimes the cat will hide under the bed, will disappear, and you won't know for hours, where's the cat? Where'd the cat go? And the cat's just hiding from the thunder, etc. We know that ants fear, insects fear, every being fears. Now, why is this the case? The reason why all beings within the material world have fear is because all beings within the material world are under illusion. And what specifically is the basis of that illusion? It is the wrong idea that we are separated from our source, that we are separated from God. Most people, most beings, certainly animals, but let's deal with humans now. Most humans, indeed, consciously or unconsciously, have this fear. Even many religious human beings, they may seem religious, but they still deep within have this fear that, oh, I am separated from God. I am alone in this world in every way. So that being the case, this is indeed why we have fear, why human beings specifically have fear. So this being the case, number one, we have to understand the universal nature of this fear. Now, having said all that, I gave several very, very good clues about how it is that we overcome this fear. The way that we overcome this fear, of course, is by realizing that existentially we are not alone. We are not alone, but rather we are always connected with God. Whether we want to deny it with some bravado or not, whether we understand that to some degree. That, oh yes, all right, I understand God is with me. That's wonderful, and I take solace in that. Whatever it is, the truth of the matter is we are not alone, and we need to understand and embrace this, that God is with us at all times. Now, what does that mean? What are the implications of this? The fact that we acknowledge that we are not alone, that God is there within our heart as our best friend at all times. It means that we're protected. Oh no, we're not protected if we're going to do evil things. We're not protected from the ordinary things in this life. Oh, we're going to have challenges come to us. We're going to have some bad things happen. We're going to get ill, etc., etc. Because God is with us, that doesn't mean that that fact alone goes against all of the laws of this world. Again, no. No, we follow dharma. That means the metaphysical and physical laws of this world. If you're going to get ill, you're going to get ill, etc. But despite all that, we are protected as God's devotees. In other words, if you are a devotee of God, what are you protected from more than anything? You're protected from evil. You're protected from evil creatures, evil beings, evil humans, demonic beings coming against you and trying to harm you in any way. This is what we are especially protected from. We are protected from evil. And knowing this should give us tremendous solace. It should give us tremendous peace, knowing this. Why else should we not fear? We should not fear because we understand that if we could somehow, viewing this material world that is here before us, before our senses, if we could somehow unveil this material world as if unveiling curtains, what would we see? We would see the smiling face of God there before us, behind all things. In other words, the individual who becomes a devotee, who becomes a Vaishnava, it's not just that, we know God is with us at all times. It's not just that we know we have nothing to fear, that we know we're protected. More than this, positively, we understand that behind all things is beauty. That God is smiling at all times. That behind all the illusion is sweetness. And when we embrace this, the fear disappears. And again, it's not a false bravado. It's not, I don't fear anything. No, it's not a sort of false bravado. The person who says that too much is the person who is most fearful. No, it means that in the face of true threat, not internet threat, not fake threat, not threat on the internet. No, face to face, 3 feet away from us, real threat. Whether physical or metaphysical. We have no fear. We have no fear. We have no fear. And regardless of anything. So, I hope that went a little bit deeper into what is meant by not having fear. Very good. And with that, we have so many questions. Let me tell you, sadly, we are going to have to end pretty soon because a few of our congregational members here, they have a deadline today. They need to get going a little bit early. Maybe I'll try to take one more quick question. But otherwise, for those who have asked all these questions, please don't feel frustrated. Next Sunday, it will be Q&A. Nothing but Q&A. So whatever your questions were that I did not have a chance to get to, either remember them or even write them down, just copy and paste somewhere, ask them again next week, and most likely I'll be able to get to the questions if I can't today. But again, please give me a moment to see if there's another question that I can just answer very, very quickly. I probably won't be able to do the multi-part one, so just to give you a little warning in advance, so hopefully just a quick question. And again, if anyone here has a quick question as well, please feel free. Very good. Sadly, I don't see any that I can answer real quick. They're all multi-part questions, like 2 and 3 parts. So again, let me tell the people who ask long questions, please make sure that you ask these questions again next week. I will be able to get to them. And instead, just to be quick, because we should get going in about 2 minutes, let me just read a few wonderful comments that are here. First of all, one comment that is here. Thank you for your time, Acharyaji. Jaya Shri Guru, Jaya Shriman Narayana. Another wonderful comment that is here. Namaste Acharyaji, these live streams about the mind have been extremely helpful advice for me these past weeks. I offer my respectful obeisances to you. Thank you very much for that wonderful comment. One more comment. Namaste Shri Acharyaji, thank you for a wonderful and enlightening talk. Jaya Shriman Narayana. Very good. And with that, I'm going to have to stop here. Again, I thank you for your questions. Ask them again next Sunday, and we will have time to go into them all. But for now, we're going to have to end here today. And I ask you all to please join me as I say these various invocations, even at home, even if you're by yourself in an apartment somewhere. Say these invocations with me, and you will be blessed. Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vansha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
Evam Bhavatu. May the victory of Dharma be so. And so it shall be. Namaste, everyone. And between now and the next time that we get together, I have this message for you. Whatever may come, do not fear. Do not fear.